Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Tuesday with Terry. My name's Terry, and I'm your friend. It's great to be here today. Back again. I was just out east in Boca, Florida at our corporate office at Orange Theory Fitness. But I want to tell you, I'm back. I'm talking to you live from Austin, Texas, where the sun is hot, and man, is it hot. 110, 106, 110 degrees. It's really blowing up out here. The sun is hot, but the barbecue is sweet. And don't forget this, the drinks are free if you're going to hang out with me. I want to share a couple of stories with you today, and I want to talk a little bit about success, and I want to talk a little bit about failure, and how success is actually a collision. I call it a collision of events. You know, a lot of people say that success, or actually they say failure, is the opposite of success. And I don't think that's true. I personally believe that failure is part of success. It never goes in a straight line. You never go from point A to point Z, and you have success in your life, and your relationships are perfect, and your finances are perfect, and your career is perfect. And man, I'll tell you, everything goes perfect. It never goes like that. It goes up and down and up and down, and 4 steps forward and 3 steps back, and 2 steps forward and 1 step back. And sometimes it goes 4 steps forward and 6 steps back, and then you got to start again, and you got to start over, and you got to do it. It's up and down and up and down, and there's hills and valleys, as you know. But you may have heard the story of Bill. The story of Bill is a gentleman out in the Northwest who was a runner, followed track, did a lot of things with track and field, and he was sitting at the breakfast table with his wife, and Bill was talking to his wife about how do you create a track shoe that actually doesn't have any spikes in it, right? So if you ever looked at track shoe and they have the spikes in it, and Bill talking to his wife about it, and he was sitting at the breakfast table, and sure enough, he looked over, and his wife was whipping up a good breakfast, I'm sure, a good old eggs and whatever breakfast, and there she was making waffles. And as she opened up the waffle maker and she scooped the waffles out, he got a brilliant idea. He jumped up from breakfast, he ran out and went over to his office, and he mixed a can of chemicals with another can of chemicals and created some latex. And he also took the waffle maker with him, and he sure enough poured it on the waffle maker. And he peeled that latex up as it had been cooked on the waffle maker, and he put a shoe on it, and he cut it out in the shape of a shoe, the sole of a shoe. And then he made another one and another one. He put 3 of them, and he kind of sealed them all together. And if you know the story of Bill Bowerman, that was the beginning of a $1 billion business. That was the beginning of Nike. That's how he came up with the Nike. If any of you ever had Nike in the early days, that's exactly what the bottom of the shoe, the sole of the shoe looked like. It looked like a waffle. And it was supposed to be a spikeless track shoe. And that's how they got started. There's another story. And the reason I say that is because this happened by chance. It happened by coincidence. It happened by a collision of a couple events. It was his wife, and it was breakfast, and it was the waffle maker, and it was what he was trying to do, and it all kind of came together. There's another story about Sarah. Sarah was in, I believe she lives in Clearwater, Florida. Not 100%, but I think she lives in Clearwater, Florida. And she was looking in her closet, and as women do, it was time to go. She got invited to a nice event, and she looked in her closet, and she looked at all of those clothes, right? And there they are. And what do women say when they look at all those clothes? Honey, I just don't have anything to wear. I can't figure it out, right? And you try it on, and you try the next outfit on, and then, they look at in the mirrors and all those kind of things. Anyway, she had a lot of options, but she had just bought a cream color pair of pants. And, wanting to look her best, she wasn't exactly sure what to do, but this is a while ago, right? These aren't as popular today, but this is a little bit ago. And so what she did is she wanted to look her best under those cream color pants. So she took a pair of control top pantyhose, right? And she cut the footsies out of them. She cut them from the shin down, cut the feet out of them. And so she put those on, and then she put her cream colored pants on, and oh my goodness, she looked at herself in the mirror, and didn't that look good? And not only did it look good, but I mean, there were no lines. She had no panty lines. I mean, this was amazing, right? And fantastic. And she felt good all evening when she went to the party. It was tight. It was right. I mean, it was exactly what the look she was going for, except her comment is the bottom of those damn things kept rolling up on her. They kept rolling up. She couldn't figure it out. In any case, she came up with this idea and she said, man, I think this is marketable. I think this is a great idea. We can take it and move on. And so she went to clothing manufacturer, and she began to visit and month. I think it was 7 months. She pitched her idea. Nobody would do it. And the reason nobody would do it, because everybody she was talking to was a man who never had to deal with some of those issues that women had to do with it. And finally, there was a gentleman that called her back and said, I'm going to do it. I'm going to take your product to market. I'm going to help you produce it. I'm going to help you manufacture it. And I'm going to help you sell it. And she said, let me ask you a question. Why is it that you want to do that? And he said, I took your idea home. And he said, I happen to have 2 daughters. And he said, both of my daughters thought that would be a pretty good idea. And I believe him. And I think we should try it and we should do it. And you may not know that woman's name. You may know that company today. The name of that company is called, the name of the woman is Sarah Blakely, and the name of her company is called Spanx. It's a $1 billion company. But you think about that and you said, how did that idea come to fruition? It was a collision of events that took place. And many times that's how success is a collision of events. And sometimes it feels like a failure. It feels like it's a struggle. It feels like you're going through mud. It feels like you're going up an incline to try to get to the top of the mountain. But failure is not the opposite of success. Failure is part of the process. It is part of success. And you've heard me tell the story of Ellen Latham, the founder and co-founder of Orange Theory Fitness, when she was a single mom and she was teaching aerobics, working at a high-end spa in South Florida. She was fired. She started her own little Pilates center, and that little Pilates center did pretty good. Well, first she started doing Pilates out of her garage. Then she moved into a space and she leased the space, and sure enough, that turned in from Pilates into spinning, and women were losing weight, but they were getting stronger, but they weren't losing weight. She flew out to California and went to a couple rowing clinics and looked at some TRX pieces of equipment. She came back and she created a high-intensity workout, and she called it Ellen's Ultimate Workout. Meantime, she met a couple guys from Massage Envy, and they got together. They put that concept together. They took Ellen's Ultimate Workout. They moved into another space. I got involved about the same time, and we called it Orange Theory Fitness. It was a collision of events that caused Orange Theory Fitness to come into fruition. And if you look at a lot of products out there, from Velcro to Viagra to Band-Aids to Whiteout to Post-it notes, many of those came about by chance. They came about by a collision based around a need, based around different factors, and all those different pieces and parts came together and created some success. And so a lot of times when we get success and the wind is at our back, and you ever ride a bicycle and the wind's at your back and you're pedaling and you really don't notice the wind at your back, and you go, man, and you're really moving and you really got some good speed and you've got some momentum, and man, you feel like things are going in your favor and it's just really happening for you. But when you get to the end of the road and the end of the destination, or halfway through, I guess, and you want to turn around, and as soon as you make that turn and all of a sudden you start getting those headwinds, you go, wow, I didn't realize how hard the wind was really pushing me. And all of us at some point or time in our life, whether it's in business, whether it's in our finances, whether it's in our relationships, whether it's in our career, whether it's in our spiritual life, we go through having times of headwinds and struggles and adversity. And the truth be told, many times those things are happening by chance. They don't necessarily happen because they were well thought out or well planned. They were someone that was thinking, they were intelligent, they had an idea, had a plan, but this collision of events had to come together in order to make it happen. And many times part of the success or the collision is part of the failure. Failure is part of that collision. Sometimes you got to fail. Sometimes you got to fall down. Sometimes you got to get knocked down. Sometimes you got to get punched in the stomach to understand and look at your business differently, to look at your relationship differently. And so with that, I have a little poem I wanted to share with you today, and it goes something like this. It's called Good Timber by Douglas Mallock. And here's the way it reads. The tree never had to fight for sun and sky and air and light, but stood out in the open plain and always got its share of rain. Never became a forest king, but lived and died a scrubby thing. The man who never had to toil to gain and farm his patch of soil, who never had to win his share of sun and sky and light and air. The man never became a successful man, but lived and died as he began. Good timber does not grow with ease because the stronger wind creates stronger trees. The further sky, the greater the length. The more the storm, the more the strength. By sun and cold, by rain and snow, in trees and men, good timbers grow. Where thickest lies the forest growth, we find the patriarchs of both. And they hold counsel with the stars, whose broken branches show the scars of many winds and much of strife. And isn't that the common law of life? And the truth is, the harder the winds, the harder we work, the stronger we get, the tougher the situation. And as long as we can know that it's a process and we can get through that process, we can triumph over issues and problems. And we just many times have to stick with it, and we have to know that it is a part of our success. So my message today is, if you're feeling failure, if you're feeling setbacks, if you're feeling headwinds in your life, in parts of your life, remember that you're learning, you're growing. This is an opportunity for you to get better, to get stronger, to get more confidence. And, I watched that movie, I think it was called Unbroken Men. If you can take it, you can make it. And all I would suggest is, don't give up on yourself. Don't give up on your business. Don't give up on your relationship. Don't give up on your finances. Wherever you're at in life, don't give up. It's a process. Get through the day. Get stronger today. I never see failure as failure, but only a learning experience. What are you learning today? How are you getting stronger today? And how are you taking that bits and pieces of failure and understanding that is part of the process in order for you to be successful? The outcome is going to be magnificent. Stick with it. Keep your courage up. Keep your head up. My name's Terry. I'm your friend. I'll see you next Tuesday.